Hello everyone and welcome back guys to Season 2 of our F1 2020 McLaren Driver Career Mode, where today we're here back in Australia. The start of a new season is always an exciting time, and hopefully this year is going to be the season we can go for the World Championship. Obviously, if you missed out on the last video that went live from Abu Dhabi last weekend, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. A big thank you to all of those of you that did go and watch and enjoy that video. You know, it really is massively appreciated. But heading into Season 2 though, obviously this is Driver Career Mode, not my team, so not as crazy, hence why I haven't done sort of a pre-season video or anything like that. There have actually been no driver transfers, nothing exciting in that market there. As you can see, every single lineup still exactly the same as it was at the end of last season, but some exciting turnaround in the R&D side of things. We have the best car in Formula 1. Ourselves, Mercedes, Red Bull and Racing Point looking very close at the top of the field there. Ferrari down to just 5th best at the moment, ahead of Renault and AlphaTauri there, obviously with Haas, Alfa Romeo and Williams rounding out the order there. But yeah, heading into Season 2 though, like I said, hopefully this is the season now where we can win the World Championship. Very much looking forward to diving into this. Obviously as well, if you're new around here, leave a like and subscribe. Obviously if you go on and enjoy, you know, it really does help me out. We're trying to hit 14,000 subscribers at the moment, so if you could help me get one step closer to that, it would be greatly appreciated. But let's get ready then. Season 2 of the McLaren Driver Career Mode. Let's head to Melbourne. So the winter break is finally done and dusted, and then we head back to Melbourne, Australia, ready for qualifying. The start of the season is always an exciting time. We went through a very long winter break before heading back here to Australia. A whole week you guys had to wait between the last race in Abu Dhabi and the first race here back in Season 2. But I'm ready though. Hopefully you guys are as well, ready for one-shot qualifying. We need to try and get a good lap. It's actually been such a long time since I drove around the Melbourne circuit, so spotting our braking points might be a little bit difficult in the first couple of laps or so as we head through the first couple of corners. Nice and tidy. I'm hoping at some point this season we can actually get a pole position. Obviously we haven't had one yet in the McLaren Driver Career Mode, so maybe today could be that day. We do have the fastest car on paper. Whether that's going to be the case or not as we get through this qualifying session, we will have to wait and see. Obviously Bottas, I'm sure, wants to come out of the starting blocks running as well. Obviously after winning his first Formula 1 World Championship last year there, and you can see very close between myself and Bottas at the moment as we head through the middle sector. Been so far a pretty tidy lap, no major mistakes. Here you can see Bottas now just inching away as we head down the back straight through the fast chicane there. The Mercedes really launching off the exit of the corner there. That's a fantastic run by the Finnish driver there as we head down in towards the final couple of corners. Just got to try and keep it nice and tidy. So easy to make mistakes through these final few turns of the lap, in towards probably the most difficult corner on the lap for me personally. And then at the final corner, roll on the power, nice and tidy. Not the best end to the lap in the world, but Mercedes really came out strong. It's P3 in the end there, so not too bad. But definitely felt, yeah, if we got it absolutely nailed, maybe, just maybe, pole was on the cards.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three. Bottas, Norris and Mr. Monaco. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So there we go then, qualifying done for the Australian Grand Prix, and it is Valtteri Bottas on the pole there, looking very quick in his Mercedes, half a second clear of Lewis Hamilton in P4 there. But we, at McLaren, we split them on the front row, so it definitely feels like the fight hasn't changed much from the end of last season, you know, so there hasn't been a massive shift one way or another between ourselves and Mercedes as well here. But Ferrari, despite looking like they've got quite a mediocre car there, Sebastian Vettel's still in 6th, albeit a very tightly bunched midfield there. Red Bull all the way down, what, from Max Verstappen down to Pierre Gasly, separated by just half a second there. As you can see, just obviously the back 6 as well, a little further off the pace. But yeah, very interesting qualifying session there. Very tightly bunched in the midfield. But second and third on the grid, hopefully with a clean start we can get off to a good start to the season here. Let's dive in then to the Australian Grand Prix.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to Melbourne for the opening race of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to the Australian Grand Prix. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula 1 underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Vettel, Perez, Albon, Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon, Leclerc, Stroll, Pierre Gasly and Magnussen, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, George Russell and Kimi Raikkonen. Latifi and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So here we are then, the start of the new season, ready on the grid in Australia. Again, it's just so cool to be back once more. You know, sort of that sense of the unknown as to what will happen next is always exciting as you get ready for a new Formula 1 season. But we've got Lando and Valtteri just in front of us, Hamilton and Verstappen just behind us. So going to be very, very interesting to see how we all fare down in towards the first corner. We don't need to take any big risks. I don't really want to take any big risks as long as we can come out in one piece. And hopefully, obviously, I'd love a win, but if we finish on the podium, I should probably be quite happy with that in the opening race of the new season. Not too sure how Danny Kvyat's already managed to find himself with a grid penalty, but we're not going to worry about that all too much. Definitely want to be doing the soft medium strategy here. It is actually looking like it's going to get a bit overcast towards the end of the Grand Prix. But I'm ready then. Hopefully you guys are as well. Let's dive in then for the start of the brand new season. Is this going to be the start of a World Championship campaign? 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go here in Albert Park once more. Not a particularly brilliant start there as Norris and Bottas are going to battle it out down in towards turn 1. We're late on the brakes, holding it around the outside of Hamilton. Completely slamming the door shut on our fellow Englishman there as Perez moves himself up into P4 off the start. So a good little start for the Mexican there as we head through in towards Sector 2. But yeah, not the best start in the world for ourselves, but we haven't also gone backwards, which is rather critical in these races there. But Bottas leads the way as we head out in towards Sector 2. Norris trying to hang on with the Mercedes man as we head down in towards the next couple of corners here, breaking down nice and tidily in through Sector 2. And yeah, we have survived the start nice and cleanly. Hamilton is still up in P5. I don't think there was ever any contact between us. I was just very, very aggressive in trying to just sort of hang him out to dry through the first corner there. We struggled actually a bit with the understeer, I'll be honest. But yeah, anyway, coming towards the end of lap 1 though, Bottas leads the way, ahead of Lando and myself. So there we go, the team not too ecstatic, they're not gaining anything on the lap 1, but we also can't be too disappointed, obviously, like I said, that we haven't gone backwards. Hopefully Perez in that racing point, looking like a very, very quick package at the moment in recent weeks. Maybe, just maybe, he can try and defend from Hamilton for us, because obviously not only do we want to win the Drivers' World Championship, but I think we've definitely got a car and a teammate that are capable of the constructors as well here, as long as obviously we keep it clean, keep it tidy, and don't end up with a bit of a McLaren civil war towards the end of the year there. But yeah, Bottas though, just putting away a few extra tenths at the moment as we're going to try and stick in Lando. That's new fastest lap. He pulls out another half a second over us on that one as we are really, really trying to push now as we head back through turn 1 here. We need to try and keep within a second of Lando, but I was hoping he'd stick within a second of Bottas as well here, so things aren't going perfectly early on. Bottas still looking very, very quick, but of course we have got... Ooh, we've almost only got 3 wheels on the wagon there, as we almost put it into the wall, but yeah, we have obviously got 2 cars, so if one of us wants to go for an undercut, try and force Bottas into pitting a bit earlier, we could try and force him into an error. Oh, there we go, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix, go marginally quicker than Bottas did the lap before, but already starting to struggle with the dirty air behind our teammate Lando Norris at the moment, so if we want to try and battle for the lead, we probably need to try and get around Lando. It always takes me a couple of laps just to try and get the car working in a rhythm. But when we can, we then really still seem to be able to get things connected. You can just see there, though, how much less grip we're getting. Stuck looking at our teammate's gearbox. But hopefully, yeah, we can either undercut him or overtake him on track. For the back of Lando Norris still, but getting close to someone is quite easy. Around Albert Park, trying to get around him is a very, very different story. I'm tempted now, in all honesty, just to pit in at the end of this lap, but I'm just trying to work out whether we'd be able to get ahead of the Williams. You can see our little battle pack on the mini-map right at the rear of the field. I'd like to try and get ahead of them, if possible, in this race, but Perez still doing an absolute worldie, keeping a Hamilton at bay. At the moment, as you can just see there, those are the sorts of moments where we're losing time, stuck behind Lando, so if he doesn't dive it in now, I'm going to, on to set of mediums to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Lando doesn't dive it in, so this could be make or break for our Grand Prix. Many times before has an early pit stop here at Albert Park. One driver's the race, obviously Sebastian Vettel back in 2018. Hamilton was left wondering at what could have happened in that Grand Prix, but 2.5 second stop isn't all too shabby as well, but I think we are going to come out behind the Williams lot, so that's not ideal. Maybe we could get ahead of Latifi. I don't think it's going to happen, though. So this hasn't worked out perfectly. Really hasn't worked out perfectly on pit exit. Struggle there to get the power down, but yeah, we've got to try and get around Latifi and hope that all those guys pit rather soon as well. Latifi going very, very slowly as we head out onto the back straightaway here. Hopefully we can try and get past him sooner rather than later. The Williams, yeah, just so slow in every aspect around the circuit. Maybe we can get a slingshot run off the exit. We have got decent run, obviously, down the third DRS straight. Latifi going to try and defend, but we're much, much later on the brakes. Maybe just a little bit too late. He actually runs into the side of us. But we do get round the outside. A brave move around the outside of Latifi there. No one else opting to dive into the pits just yet, though, as we've now got about a 2.5 second gap to the next cars up the road. Oh, they can see there's a lot of battling going on just in front of us. Raikkonen and Kvyat battling it out for P18 and P17 in this Grand Prix. Not what we need up the inside of the pair of them. Holy moly, that was a bit of an aggressive move there, as luckily for us, Grosjean, Giovinazzi and Russell all into the pits as well there. Quite a few drivers into the pits, but most notably, neither Lando or Valtteri Bottas in this Grand Prix. So we've got one more lap to try and claw back some time on them. We've only got one of the backmarker cars to get around there as well. But yeah, a bit of an apologies to Raikkonen. I wasn't actually intended to go up the inside of him in that moment. I was only really looking to get the inside of Kvyat, but all of them struggling so much through that final sector. We sort of just had to go for it, otherwise Raikkonen was going to turn in on us, and that would have been a whole lot worse. Trying to get a good run on K-Mag out down the back straight. Our teammate is into the pits. K-Mag moving around all over the road. Once again, we can have a look around the outside, and once again, we just brake a little bit too late. Can we hook it up through the third last corner? Yes, we can. Got so much extra grip over the Haas car there, and we do now move ourselves back up into 8th place of the Grand Prix. Obviously, K-Mag dives into the pits as well, but where are we going to come out in comparison to Bottas? There is Bottas still out in the lead, but there is Lando Norris still in P2. Can we get a cut back on him? Out of the first corner, we'll try and get on the power nice and early, as Bottas there on the hard compounded tyres. Not too sure what Mercedes are planning there, but this is now or never. Up the inside of our teammate Lando Norris, just a bit too deep on the way in, and we're going to have to slot back down into P3 in this Grand Prix. There is a valiant effort, obviously trying to get around all those lapped cars, or slower traffic even I should say, as well there, but just didn't quite have the stopping power on the brakes. That being said, I really do think Mercedes have made a massive blunder sticking Bottas onto the hard compounded tyres to the end of this race, because Lando and I have already taken a fair chunk of time out of him as we head onto lap 10 here. 6 to go from Albert Park. Is this over just yet? We got yellow flags out. Who's struggling? Don't say it's Hamilton. Always a man cursed in the My Team career mode. No, I think it is Max Verstappen out of the Australian Grand Prix. We've got a virtual safety car. That's not ideal for us because it just gives Bottas a little bit more breathing room in front, but not too bad either. BSC coming to an end then. We pretty much nailed that as best as I could have. Off the restart. It has allowed us to get a little bit closer to our teammate Lando Norris there as we just get a bit of a run at the first corner. But yeah, the gap to Bottas now under 3 seconds. Lando only about 2 seconds off the Mercedes man, so we are definitely closing in. Still feel at the moment like we're just getting held up a little bit behind our teammate Lando Norris at this stage of the day, but the gap still coming down to Bottas up the road. You can just see though, again, sat in the dirty air behind our teammate, really having to open up the track width as much as we dare, but playing a risky game as Perez still ahead of Hamilton. It's not going to be long before Lando has actually got the DRS on Bottas as well here, but 3 to go from Albert Park. This is definitely not over. Lando and I really just pushing each other along at the moment to try and close up to Bottas. Lando now going to be very, very close to having the DRS at the first couple of corners, but we are still all over the back of our teammate as well. He doesn't get the DRS on Valtteri Bottas, so he could now try and go for a move again up the inside. A very, very late move, but this time around we get it slowed down. And we're now over to P2 of this Australian Grand Prix with just 2 to go here. A bit of an unorthodox one. Normally you just think that first race of the season the team would just try and get Lando up to the back of Bottas and see if we can force the error, but I fancy my chances here. I still believe there is the potential for a race victory here in Albert Park, and I don't think Lando would be brave enough to go for anything. Coming down in towards Sector 3, we've got so much overspeed on Valtteri Bottas at the moment. Surely there's going to be some sort of opportunity on this final lap, unless of course he's saved all his ERS and he's just going to be using it absolutely everywhere on the final lap here. 1 more to go here from Albert Park, and what a brilliant opening race of the season it has been. So often in the past the story has been McLaren and Mercedes working together to conquer the racing world, but now it's a case of which can conquer ahead of the other. Get a good run through turn 1, a little bit of a wobble on the exit here, but we got the DRS once again on Valtteri Bottas. We're not close enough to go for anything down in towards turn 3, but you can just see there really, really all over the back of the Mercedes still. There's got to be some sort of opportunity, maybe down in towards the final sector of the lap where we've pulled off a couple of moves already up to this point, but we've still just got to hit our marks. Lando is still right there ready to pounce if we can't make anything happen, and just look at the run we've got. Bottas goes defensive down in towards the midway stage of Sector 2, parks it on the apex. Lando completely now in this battle as well there, as we're going to try and get a good run out of the chicane. Lando's trying to look to the outside of myself. This is a brilliant three-way battle as we have to just cut over the chicane slightly there. Wasn't too sure how much room Lando was going to give us on the outside. We get another big run on Valtteri Bottas. This is surely now or never. Up the inside we go on the Mercedes. We do make the move work, and Lando sneaks up the inside as well. They're a very, very robust move on Valtteri Bottas. They're a tiny bit of contact, but we are out of nowhere gonna come through to finish off the season, the start of the season, I should say, in perfect fashion. It's gonna be a 1-2 here in Albert Park, but surely very controversial standards behind it.
Great job, you've done everything we wanted today.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Mr. Monaco takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula One.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. McLaren supplant the previous leaders, taking control of the championship. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So, where we are then, guys, the end of the Australian Grand Prix to kick off Season 2 of the McLaren Driver Career Mode, and certainly one that ends in dramatic fashion there. The top three finished the top three, but in the complete reverse order there. Myself, we take the win here in Albert Park. The FIA clearly didn't think that was penalty worthy, but I'm sure Bottas and Mercedes very, very disappointed with the final result there in the end. But if that says anything, this is going to be an absolutely brilliant battle between ourselves and Mercedes throughout the entirety of the season there. Lando, he snuck through in the end. He was right there waiting in the wings. He did try and make a move work on me beforehand, so maybe, just maybe, he could have actually won that Grand Prix as well there, right at the very end. But we pulled off a couple of brave moves late on, and we're able to make it work there. Bottas comes through for P3 in the end. Like I said, I'm sure very, very gutted with that one. But Sergio Perez, a fantastic day out, finishing P4 there ahead of Lewis Hamilton there. Albon in a bit of no man's land in P6 ahead of Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel and Esteban Ocon rounding out the top 10 as well. As you can see, further down the field there, Lance Stroll down in the 11th, not able to score points when his teammate was only 3 seconds off the race victory there. And you can see further down the Alpha Tower is the Haas, the Alfa Romeo and the Williams, and then of course Max Verstappen, the only man not to make it to the checkered flag there. But yeah, with that bonus point as well though, means obviously we have an 8-point lead as we leave Melbourne, Australia, ready for Bahrain next time out there. Constructors-wise though, 44, already 19 clear of Mercedes as well there after a perfect end to the weekend there. Red Bull in 4th, tied with Ferrari there with only 6 teams, scoring points here in Albert Park. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below on that little incident between myself and Valtteri Bottas right at the very end there. Do you think it was too aggressive? Or do you think, as last lap, sometimes you've just got to send it as well there? But thank you all, like I said, so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Make sure you click that bell notification as well, so you'll get notified of future videos. And yeah, we will be back very, very soon, where we head to Bahrain for round 2 of the season. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.